Oh, tricky. Friendly. We have a lot. I work in the head office and there's an awful lot of people there and we're from all sorts of different disciplines, but everybody is very friendly, very supportive, and we work in teams an awful lot. So yeah, I'd go with that, friendly and supportive, and busy as well. We work together in teams an awful lot, teams of different specialists, different regulators, and we get to know people very well. So it's a really friendly sort of an atmosphere because you work with the same people quite often day in, day out. And people are really supportive. And because of that, it's quite a relaxed atmosphere as well. So generally, it's quite a friendly place to be. So the Process Safety Group then, who I work for, there's roughly, I'd say, about 20 of us. We are based all across the country, so we cover the length and breadth of the UK. And so we're based in all the different offices, and indeed we cover all plants across the UK as well. We're a mixture of chemists, mainly chemical engineers, and I'd say that about 50% of us are women. I think the flexibility is a huge plus for me. I am office-based and I work in the office a few days a week, but I also work at home on occasion as well, which is a huge plus. Especially because I'm a working mum, I've got fairly young children, and I can manage my time a little bit around their needs sometimes. So for example, if there's a school assembly I need to be at, I can maybe go, but then work later on in the evening and things like that to balance my time out. So I think for me it's a huge draw to have that flexibility that I don't have to be in the office every day. I think we're very focused on what we're doing. I think we have a very clear idea of what our job is and what our purpose is, and because of that people are very willing to help out and be very sort of open about what they need in order to reach that as well. So I find I know people much better maybe because I'm working with a lot of different people. And that's across the country, that's not just on one different site. We've got multiple offices and I cover quite a large area, so I work with people from lots of different offices, and I like that. I like the fact that I know people all over the country, and I know that if I have a problem I can pick up the phone and they're quite happy to help me. So it's very supportive, and it's friendly, and it's a very willing sort of organisation. Busy, I would say. We have a lot of work on and we're all doing our best to do that work. I think it's quite nurturing, maybe that's not a bad word to pick. I think we do our very best to support each other and bring each other on, and friendly. We are quite a close team, and on the whole we like each other and like working together, so I feel that a lot of my colleagues are my friends as well. Well, I've been in HSE quite a while actually. I joined in 1999. Before that I was a process engineer, chemical and process engineer, working in operations on a very large chemical plant, a nuclear plant actually, in sort of operations support type role. My degree was chemical engineering, so it was sort of working in that field. I came into HSE, but I didn't come the usual route, I would say, for process safety specialists. I came in and joined as what we would call a regulatory specialist, which is more of the sort of general type inspector. I think it's probably fair to say I didn't fully understand the differences when I applied for the job between a more general type inspector and a specialist inspector, which is what I am now. But over that time, I've done several different jobs. I've worked in several different areas of HSE, and I've moved from being a regulatory specialist towards being a process safety specialist, which really reflects my degree and my background. In some ways, I feel we are a little bit like a consultant because we have teams of, as I've said before, regulatory specialists who are the more sort of general type health and safety inspectors, and they go into major hazard plants because I work in the major hazard sector, and they would call us as specialist inspectors in to do specific pieces of work that are relevant to our specialism. So for me, I'm a process safety engineer, process safety specialist, chemical engineer, and they would call me in if there was any sort of issues maybe involving fire and explosion risks or toxic hazards, and then I would go in to be a very targeted sort of inspection based on what they want me to do. So I can routinely go into any type of plant. It's generally the sort of larger major hazard plants, chemical plants, maybe an oil refinery, something like that. But in theory, I could be called into any plant that has had some sort of process safety type incident, and that could be as a planned inspection, but it could also be as an investigation because something's gone wrong. Because I tend to deal with the sort of incidents, major accidents if you like, that are less likely to happen often, so they are less frequent incidents, but potentially with catastrophic outcomes. So the sort of incidents that I deal with are things like a Flixborough type accident, or Bhopal or Buntsville, something like that. So these are the incidents that will not just affect people on the site, so not just workers on site, but it could be people living around the plant. So the incident could be so large that it will affect people living off the site. So I feel that I can make a difference because hopefully I am increasing increasing their safety, if you like, of people who don't even realise they're necessarily at risk. So these are the major consequence type events, and hopefully I can help prevent them from happening. I think that fundamentally I'm a people person and I like to see different people. And one of the big things that I get out of the job is the fact that not only am I working with a large group of people across all ranges of backgrounds, but actually I get to go into plants as well and see people there as well and see what they're doing. So I get to have I've got quite a wide knowledge of the chemical processes now as well, and mixing with different people. And I think that's what I like. I think it's given me quite a broad understanding of different chemical and major accident hazard type processes. So in terms of process safety, which obviously I'm a process safety specialist, it's given me a vast knowledge of how to apply that on all different types of chemical processes. And if I was working in industry now, I would know one process very well, but that's all I would see. Whereas now what I see is across the board, I see all sorts of different processes. So I think from a technical perspective, from an engineering perspective, it's given me far more exposure to different processes than I would ever have got if I was on a single chemical plant. But not only that, it's the challenge of working with different technical sort of issues that you wouldn't get necessarily on the one plant, and working with all different people as well from different backgrounds and different industries as well. So it's provided me with an awful lot of different experiences that I just wouldn't have got. As I've said already, I've been in HSE quite a long time, and I've moved quite a long time in that time as well. And I would like to continue doing that. I think for me, my My next thing I'd like to do is maybe work, rather than working in the sort of frontline inspection role, maybe pulling back a little bit and doing a more strategic type role, and looking at developing guidance, maybe developing standards, and working with maybe trade associations, that sort of things. So a more strategic role, but ultimately more management as well, which of course is all an option within HSE. I think the training is very good and it's ongoing as well. I still do an awful lot of training, and that's both technical training and training in softer skills as well as legal training as well, which of course wouldn't get in other sort of industries necessarily in the same way. It's important for us to know current good practice, current industry standards, because that's what we're talking about when we go out onto site. So we get a lot of training to reinforce that. And we also do a lot of peer-to-peer type training as well. So we arrange within our discipline, within the process safety group, we have seminars, technical seminars, we have group get-togethers where we talk about different issues as well to make sure that we're all consistent in our message as well. So we spend several days every year doing that sort of thing, as well as more formal training as well. And we do a lot of webinars, that sort of thing, where we can link in with trade associations who are delivering maybe just an hour on a set topic, sort of, you know, a bite-sized chunk and all that sort of thing. So whilst when you first come into the organisation, the training will be quite a lot of your time, and it inevitably will tail off a bit. It doesn't go to nothing. We always do carry on with the training. I would say come and give it a try, go for it. It's a good organisation, it's a very friendly organisation, and it's a supportive organisation. If you like, from a process safety perspective, if you like the technical challenge, you will get a lot of that here, across all different types of industry, looking at all different types of issue. But it's not only that, it's not only the technical challenge, you'll also have the challenge of dealing with people as well on a daily basis, which can present its own difficulties, you know. So, but you'll be supported in that, and we work together very much as a team, and you'll be a valued team member.